Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Today I would like to have a rant about my job. My job is, yes, I know everybody keeps saying the same thing. Louis, I thought you had a business. What do you mean you have a job? I realized that the public education system in the United States of America is designed to create worker drones. As a result of it, they don't teach you that you could walk and chew gum at the same time. I can have a business while having a YouTube channel, while having a nonprofit, while cosplaying as a lobbyist, and also having a job on top of all of that. I enjoy putting lots of things on my plate. That's why my eyes look the way they do, and that's why I look like I'm 90 at the age of 35. But I digress. This job that I have working at an organization called FUTO is kind of cool because I actually get to do things about what I talk about on my channel. Several years ago, I talked about the fact that Google reported customer photos to the police because they're going through your shit. And what do we do about it? Well, I get to ask my boss to fund the solution. I've talked about Google being creepy with regards to storing my voice recordings for 10 years and not informing me that they're doing it. So I get to fund the creation of a keyboard that runs completely offline with voice to text. I talk about right to repair when it comes to wheelchairs. And then I get to fund something called the Mobility Independence Foundation that wants to create open source wheelchairs, and I also get $1 million for my own right to repair nonprofit. There are some people on Reddit that will whine, complain, and bitch and say that I don't do honest work anymore, and at the end of the day, I get to look them straight in the eye and say, fuck you. I enjoy having a job that allows me to actually do something about the problems that I talk about on this channel using somebody else's money, which I don't have. Of all the jobs to have in the world, this is one of the coolest jobs. I literally get to go through every single thing I've considered a problem and discussed for the last 12 years and actually use somebody else's money to try and fix them as a part of that organization. To take all of these people that are working on fixing these problems, put them under one umbrella, give them money, give them resources, and allow them to do their thing. That's cool. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's not going to come again. One of the problems that I've had is regarding some of the feedback that I've seen about a program called Immich. So I use Nextcloud, and Nextcloud drives me insane. And because Nextcloud drives me insane, I decided that I wanted to try something new. I tried this piece of software called Immich, and it's just absolutely amazing. It loads incredibly fast. This loads stuff faster on an Intel NUC with 4 gigabytes of RAM with an i3 processor from 2018, faster than Nextcloud loads things on an i7-14700K with 64 gigabytes of RAM. I'll just give you a little bit of a demo over here as to why I love this software and genuinely believe it is better than iCloud and Google Photos. This uses local AI, so I can go over here to search. I can go over to my good friend Jessa. Okay, I click on Jessa, and now I can see every picture that has Jessa. I can see pictures with her, I can see videos with her, and this uses an AI that is stored on my server that never connects to the internet. If I want to find pictures of my fish in my koi pond, I can do this, fish in pond, and literally instantly it will find this on a computer that is an i3 Intel NUC from 6 years ago. I could search for cat and share. And now I have all the pictures of the Clinton or the berry sitting in the chair. And even videos. And unlike my experience with Nextcloud, this loads instantly. And it can also transcode videos so that if I'm loading things over a crappy internet connection, I can still see everything just fine. I don't even have to connect this to the internet. I can VPN or WireGuard into my home network, connect to this thing, which is not allowed to connect to the internet, and then access all of my things with full knowledge and security and knowing that this AI nor anything on this device can connect to the internet. It's beautiful software. This software is pretty cool. I showed it to my boss and I said, you should give these people millions of dollars to develop this AGPL software. And he did. He had them sign contracts committing to several years of development, no stupid non-competes, no sort of nonsense like that. The software is completely AGPL and will remain AGPL, which is pretty cool, right? Wrong. Because there's always somebody who's going to find some way to bitch. And this was a comment that I read that just set me off the deep end, and I'd like to explain why. This comment says, I like how you keep using the word support through the video, the explanations, everything but the actual final transfer of money from us to the project when it becomes a purchase all of a sudden. You are choosing to label yourselves in such a way that is antithetical to the spirit of FOSS. I don't know how simpler to put it than this. We don't want to buy things anymore. We want to support things. Noble ideas. Whatever. We don't want the notion of paying for software to be normalized. We don't want the notion of paying for software to be normalized. I do. What happens when you don't normalize paying for software is that the open source solutions, they're like 70 to 75% done, but you wind up with the people that are good developers going to work at YouTube or Google or Facebook or Apple or Amazon because they need to make a living. They need to be able to feed their families. They need to be able to pay rent. They need to be able to do the things that normal people do. And they're not going to pay their property tax off of the $200 a month, if that they get in donations from developing this software. As a result of that, you get software that has 0.1% market share. Because as much as I love Kdenlive, and I used to use Kdenlive, I can't use external plugins, and if I want to use the compressor built into the program, I can't even see gain reduction, which is a feature that you had on a 1968 Yuri LA2A or 1176 compressor that you don't have in a 2024 piece of software. That's the beauty of consumer open source software. It's just never finished. And I don't blame them for not finishing it because they don't get any money, because we have normalized the idea of not paying for software. This organization wants to do the opposite. And they're taking a very interesting approach to it, where they have this open source software or source available software where you don't have to pay for it, and every feature works, that they put millions upon millions of dollars into the development of. And the idea goes something like this. And, you know, I'm happy. I don't think Aaron, my boss, watches these videos. So if you are, just, you know, you could just turn this part of the video off. I feel like this organization is doing this as an experiment. If we pretend that throwing millions upon millions of dollars into consumer AGPL software that 99% of the users will not pay for, can you pretend that maybe you consider it worth paying for? I don't even think he expects that this be insanely profitable. I think he sees it as a moonshot. But if he's willing to pretend that it is not literally setting money on fire to put it into software that doesn't spy on you, doesn't abuse you, is AGPL that you could use free for the rest of your life, can you at least fucking pretend that it's worth paying for? I'm not even asking you to pay for it if you find it valuable. But can you pretend that you're not some communistic, entitled piece of shit? I'm just going to say that out loud. Yes, I am. If I were him, you know what I would get at this point? You know what I would think? If I were Aaron, what I would think at this point is, fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. What I would do is I would take my money. I would take that money and I would invest it into Exxon and Verizon and AT&T and enjoy collecting my 9 to 10% dividend as these companies rob you fucking blind by inflating the price of everything while simultaneously selling your data to bondsmen and bounty hunters and advertisers and everybody else against their privacy policy. I would happily invest in companies that abuse the fuck out of you. And you know why I would do that? Because if I'm gonna be the villain anyway, I might as well make money off of it. Why would somebody who is this rich put money into this type of shit where there's a 1% chance of ever getting any return on their investment by asking people to buy this software if they find it useful that you could use for free for the rest of your life anyway? Why would I do that when I could just put my money into something that's actually going to have a guarantee of generating me more revenue? If I were him, I would take my car, my again, hopefully he's not watching this video, my piece of shit car that I could double in value by putting windshield wiper fluid in and quadruple in value by putting gas in. And I would replace that like a normal multimillionaire. I would do the MC Hammer shit. I would have 40 sports cars with fucking paint that changes color. I would have my yacht. I would buy my AT&T and Verizon stock, Exxon, collect my 10% dividend as they rob you blind, and say, fuck all of you. And to be clear, I don't agree with everything that this person does. I don't. When it comes to licensing, my God, I have said shit at this company that probably should have got me fired. When it comes to using the term open source, I have most definitely walked into his office and said shit that at any normal company would have somebody hitting a little red button under their desk called security and escorting me out. And for some reason, I haven't been fired yet. Again, why is beyond me, but I haven't. At the same time, when I read this type of shit, it's impossible for me to read it and not rage. And it's taken me this long to actually get to the point where I rage. And here's the egotistical part of it. I'll admit that there's an egotistical part of it. There was one person, I forget exactly who was saying, you know, when it comes to what to call this, like, do you want to call it support, license, package, purchase, whatever? Like, why not have the community vote on it? You should have had the community vote on it. If I walked into this man's office after saying, can you give $3 or $5 or $10 million to these people to develop software that, let's be real, in our heart of hearts, we we know has a 1% chance, if even, of ever making back 1% of what you put in it. If I walk into that man's office and say, you know what, in addition to that, you're not even allowed to ask people to purchase it. You have to have them democratically vote on what to call giving you money, because giving you money is so fucking wrong. I would have not even hit the security button. I would have taken this person. I would have broken open my window with my flashlight and I would have thrown them out of it. He doesn't, because he's more relaxed than I am. We're equally insane, but he's more relaxed than I am. And one of the things many people may see on my personal Reddit account here, I have a personal Reddit account and I respond to a lot of shit. And many people kind of say, listen, what is the point of arguing? Why do you go back and forth with people on this platform? What is the point of that? Like, this person in r/Tesla or r/Apple is never going to agree with you or see your point. They are ideologically possessed. They are never in a million years going to actually agree with you on anything. And you're right. They never are. And I am not responding to all those people every single time a video or a news article about right to repair goes viral because I'm going to convince them. I'm not writing my post for them. I'm writing my post for the 50 or 100 or 1,000 or 4,000 people who are never going to say anything but read that post. Those are the people I care about, the people that will see my back and forth with somebody who I believe is completely unreasonable and go, I thought Lewis was a total asshole, and because of it, I dismissed his points entirely, but maybe he's actually got a point there. Okay, cool. I didn't think that about right to repair. Still don't like him. Still don't really support right to repair as much. But you know what? He's got a point. That's who I'm writing this stuff for. The idea behind asking people to pay for software is very simple. One person who has hundreds of millions of dollars cannot fix everything that is wrong in the landscape of abusive closed source software and hardware. He can't. He could put all of his money into 1 or 2 or 4 projects. And again, it's very easy to spend $300 to $500 million trying to build a new phone from scratch and fail. Guess how he knows. It's very easy to spend a lot of money and fail. The reason he's doing this experiment, if I'm willing to pretend that this will make money, can you at least pretend that you're willing to pay? Or dare I say it, actually pay for what you find valuable and use so that we're not stuck with Google Photos. The point of this is to get other people with his level of wealth to start investing as well, so that it's not just one person. Further, it is to get other programmers to go, wait a second. You mean I don't have to work at Google creating shitty spyware in order to make a living? I don't have to work at Apple making unfixable devices in order to make enough money to feed my family? That's awesome. Let me leave and start working on my passion projects as well. That's his dream, to demonstrate that you can actually make a living using non-abusive software. The same way that I am posting on Reddit, not for the person that I'm responding to. I'm doing this because I want the people reading to maybe have a little seed planted in mind with a point. If I were a wealthy person and I were reading shit like this, do you know what I would say? I would say that my boss is an idiot. Why are you not putting your money into Exxon, Verizon, AT&T, the S&P 500, whatever the fuck else, bonds, anything else that will actually make you money? Why not do that? Because even if you do the right thing, you're evil anyway. Who cares? Why? I would not put a dime of my own money. If I were somebody else that had his money, I would look at comments like this and say, why the fuck are you even bothering? You're evil anyway. Why would you want this person to have good software? Does this person even deserve good software? No. The level of entitlement that is dripping through some of these posts makes me physically sick. And here's the egotistical part of it that I want to get to. I'm the one that has to walk into his office and make a case for why he should give millions of dollars to this shit. I'm the one who walked into his office and suggested that he give millions of dollars to Immich. I am the one who walked into his office and suggested that he hire a team of people to make this keyboard. I'm the person who walked into his office and said, give hundreds of thousands of dollars to this nonprofit that wants to create open source wheelchairs. Do you know how much more difficult it is going to be to do so and have any credibility when after I tell him, give $3 to $5 million to a piece of AGPL fucking software, that there are people literally bitching about it? Bitching about it. Because he dared to have, it's just his ass that you be open to purchasing it if you find it valuable. You don't even have to. You can use it. You can modify it, you can fork, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it without paying. He's simply asking that after putting millions of dollars in it, can you at least pretend that you're willing to pay to an equal level that he is willing to pretend that there is any profit in this shit? And this entitled fuck can't even have the consideration to do that. Yes, there's an ego part to it because I like being able to actually solve the problems I talk about on this channel. I like the fact that I can start a nonprofit that allows me to actually get bills passed in different states where I failed before because I was investing my own money. I like being able to show up to an expo and actually see the results, the tangible results, the people who are going to be helped as a result of hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars going to good causes. And people like this motherfucker right here make it harder, because what you have done, sir, is you have made me look like a fucking idiot for ever suggesting that money go to good things. And that pisses me the fuck off. And I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if it makes you mad. So what? He's asking you to pay? I don't give a fuck. Okay, so what? Like, let's say hypothetically speaking, let's say that he gets rid of every single developer tomorrow. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Essentially, what do you have? You have a year of a superior code base as a result of people working on this shit full fucking time, fixing every bug, fixing every issue, making every feature request of reality. It is my goal, as long as I have this job, as long as I have not been fired, which again, I'm very surprised I haven't been. This may strike you as surprising, but I'm not exactly the type of person that's good at holding a normal job, that has the mind for holding a normal job. It is my goal to continue to be able to walk into this man's office as long as I have a job, as long as he says, my goal is to beat Google, my goal is to beat Amazon, my goal is to beat Apple, and point out the products that they create that abuse people, point out the products that are competing with them that are open source, and say, give money to this shit. Hire that team. Make them employees. Get them to work on this full time so it's better. You've made that harder. And because you've made that harder, because you've decreased my credibility to do that, because you've made me look like a fucking idiot for doing that, what I will say to you, sir, is fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. This is not the opinion of the company. To be clear, this is not the opinion of the company. This is the opinion of Louis Rossmann. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.
Fuck you.
Just had to get that out of the system. It's been in there for a while.
You're gonna die of cancer, I promise.